Hi, everyone. I'm Chris Walsh, and my topic is flat.
And are you ready?
I am ready.
Josh, are you ready?
Yes.
Wonderful. Red Club audience, are you ready? Then it's Chris Walsh for flat. 3, 2, 1, begin.
My friends! 400 some odd years ago, Europeans who were too fucking weird to hack it around other Europeans set forth across an ocean and were total dicks about it and made it everyone else's problem. And those principles still guide our nation today. Now, in the 2025th year of the 7th age of Arda, you've all read your Tolkien, we find ourselves at a low point in the American experiment. I don't say the low point because I did the extra credit in history class. The causes are as innumerable as they are white. But I would like to address one in particular, thanks to the prompt I was given. My friends, we are beset on all sides by idiots. If you need proof of that assertion, and I know you don't, look no further than a 2021 survey conducted by the University of New Hampshire's Carsey School of Public Policy, which found that around 10% of the population of the United States believes the Earth is flat. The Flat Earth Society is not just a song by Bad Religion. It is a real thing that exists. It has members. The honorary first member of the modern Flat Earth Society with the membership number 00001 is, of all people, 80s synth pop new wave artist Thomas Dolby of She Blinded Me with Fame Science, whose 1984 album The Flat Earth inspired the Society's founder, Daniel Shenton, to begin looking into flat Earth beliefs in the first place. To his credit, Dolby has said he has never actually believed the Earth was flat, and he accepted the membership because he thought the whole thing was hilarious, which it is. Modern flat earthers claim, among their numbers, a small handful of current and former professional basketball players, including Kyrie Irving, Draymond Green, and Wilson Chandler. But aside from these and a handful of other notable exceptions, flat earth belief is, for the most part, pretty white. The modern version was started in the 1830s by an English writer named Samuel Rowbotham, who wrote that the Bible, alongside our senses, supported the idea that the earth was flat and immovable, and this essential truth should not be set aside for a system based solely on human conjecture. Rowbotham based his conclusions on something called the Bedford Level Experiment, which was a series of observations along a drainage canal in England called the Bedford Level, which has a stretch of about 6 miles, through which it follows a perfectly straight path. The argument was that if the Earth was spherical, as all the experts said, then the surface of the water must form an arc, and if an object were to travel from one end of the level to the other, then to an observer at one end, the object should appear to gradually decline, disappearing from view entirely after just a couple of miles. Rowbotham showed that it was entirely possible to see such objects along the entire length of the level from any fixed point, but his conclusions were quickly disproved, as critics pointed out that he failed to take into account certain important factors like atmospheric refraction. But that did not stop him from preaching what he called zetetic astronomy. I had to look it up. Zetetic means proceeding by inquiry, so... The first organization to be known as the Flat Earth Society came along in 1956 and gained some attention while the Apollo missions were happening. When asked about satellite images and photos taken by astronauts showing the Earth to be round, the Society's founder, Samuel Shenton, no relation to the other guy, blamed the curvature on the use of wide-angle lenses, saying it's easy to see how a photograph like that could fool the untrained eye. Such an asshole. And what just stings me right in my whiteness is that the understanding that the Earth is a sphere is one of the rare things that Europeans actually got right before everybody else. The myth that medieval Europeans thought the earth was flat started as something Protestants said about Catholics to insult their intelligence. But Greeks figured it out in the 5th century BC, and it was widely accepted throughout Europe by the early Middle Ages. Muslim scholars caught on by the 9th century, which makes sense because that's where all the math comes from. And Chinese writings consistently described the earth as flat all the way up until the 1600s, when they started having to deal with Jesuit missionaries, because one way or another, those Christians are going to get you. The sad thing is there is a degree to which I sympathize with flat earthers. I get it. Flat is easy. Not to say that round is particularly complicated, but just go with me for a second. Flat is comfortable. Flat is safe. Flat is non-committal. But flat also holds potential. Ask any guitar player. You hit a sharp note, it sounds like instant shit. You go flat, it still sounds like shit, but then you bend the string until you find just the right pitch and the crowd goes fucking wild. But sympathy can take one only so far. Science does not care about your feelings. Because as we all know, the world is not flat. The world used to be flat until the year 3319 of the Second Age of Arda, when Sauron, who had been brought to Numenor as a prisoner through cunning and flattery, became chief advisor to the king, Ar-Pharazôn, and convinced him to build the great armament and sail west to make war upon the undying lands of Aman and Tol Eressëa, upon whose shores it was, of course, forbidden for any mortal to set foot. So when he landed and led his troops through the pass at Calakiria beneath the shadow of Taniquetil the Valar, called upon Eru, the One, known by the elves as Ilúvatar. And he reshaped the world, drowning all of Numenor beneath the ocean and removing Aman and Tol Eressëa from the face of Arda, creating the straight road by which only the elves could travel from Middle-earth to Valinor and the Undying Lands. Spoiler alert for anyone planning to watch the next few seasons of The Rings of Power, but all of this is well known to anyone who understands science. Hashtag teach the controversy. Thank you.